What's up guys, Blade Master here with another Total War Warhammer online battle fought in Blade Balance. Yes, Blade Balance isn't dead, very much alive, and this is a battle that I fought against Indie Pride from the Milk and Cookies Total War YouTube channel, and we're fighting in the map of Pillar of Bone is what it's called. And first of all, the Blade Balance, yeah, I told you it's not dead, it's very much alive and still making a lot of changes to it. And I want all of your guys' feedback. So make sure you go ahead, if you want to participate in Blade Balance, go ahead and check the mod, which is the download link is provided in the description. And download the mod, go to the Blade Balance buddies, find people to play with, and like get some 1v1s in, and help me refine the mod. So many people are very quick to point out that I haven't spent nearly as many hours in Total War Warhammer as I did in Rome 2, and I've made a balance mod for Rome 2. It makes sense if I made it in Rome 2 because I put like over 1,000 hours into Rome 2 before I actually made a mod. But to that I say I'm taking a lot more help from people, getting a lot more support, not a lot more support, but getting more feedback from people like Indie Pride, and very quick to take their ideas into much further consideration than I would have in Rome 2. The thing is, when you play a lot of a game, you develop your own ideas about how the game should be played. And that's not really the case with me in Total War Warhammer. I've put in a grand total of like 30 hours or something like that in this game. But I know what needs to be changed. There are many things that are very clearly unbalanced. Stuff like certain magic spells not being nearly as effective as their mana points them out to be is one of those biggest changes that that is very apparent for anyone who's even put 1 hour into the game. So those are stuff that I'm changing now, and as I put in more hours, I can start to change, tweak further elements in the game that are not so visible or is not so visibly unbalanced. Stuff like maybe unit costs, special abilities for units being overpowered. I don't know, stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys want to participate and refine the mod, maybe, most likely a lot of your suggestions will be implemented in the mod. Then go ahead and get into Blade Balance Buddies, which is the Steam group for finding people very easily to 1v1 with, and of course the Blade Balance mod, so you need to download that as well. I'm going to be fighting as the Greenskins in this battle against the Vampire Counts, and this is what we think is going to be a pretty typical Vampire Count army in quick battle. It's a lot of Cairn Wraiths, followed by a lot of Crypt Horrors, and the reason for that being that there have been buffs made to Cairn Wraiths which make it much easier for you to use Invocation of Nehek, which is a spell for in the lore of vampires that will ultimately regenerate their health pool. So using that, you'll basically get Cairn Wraiths that can be used twice and would be essentially twice to thrice more effective. So I've developed kind of an army in Blade Balance that is meant to counter this sort of army. So here you can see I'm using Orc Borboy Biggins to charge into his Black Knights, and I'm bringing in Savage Orc Borboy Biggins, Savage Orc Biggins. And his zombies and skeleton warriors will be faced up by orc boys, and I'm going to be using a goblin to try and counter his blood knights, who are going to be charging into my savage orc boar boy Biggins, whom I didn't countercharge. So this is a blood knight that's going to do really well in this battle. I've got a main line of savage orcs who have physical resistance and will do decently against Cairn Wraiths. And most importantly, I've got a trio of spellcasters, and Azag the Slaughterer and 2 orc shamans. And I'm about to fucking stomp these fucking Cairn Wraiths into oblivion. They're going to get a downhill charge on my Savage Orc Biggins. The Black Knights here have died. The zombies are going to come in to rear charge my goblins. My Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins have gotten slaughtered, but the goblins should do okay against the Blood Knights. And there we go, the first stomp. Foot of Gork dropped in onto Cairn Wraiths, and 2 of them destroyed. The Savage Orc, the Crypt Horrors are not doing very well either. He's going to drop, I think, Invocation of Nehek, which is going to replenish the health pool of some of these Crypt Horrors. But the Cairn Wraiths just got one-shotted by the Foot of Gork. Now, Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins going to charge in. Another Foot of Gork dropped by the second Orc Shaman, which is going to slaughter the skeleton warriors and deal a bunch of damage to the Cairn Wraiths. And now Savage Orcs are going to be dropping into the battle as well. These Savage Orcs are going to charge into Cairn Wraiths. Cairn Wraiths didn't get their charge in, the Savage Orcs did. Now he's going to be dropping, I believe, he's going to be dropping in Wind Blast onto all of my Goblin Archers. I've brought 4 of them who would be very essential in this battle. But yeah, you can see some of them I moved them at the last second, so the Wind of Magic didn't really do its its full potential, didn't get to its full potential. But yeah, you can see a lot of them got flattened there. But they are light units, and the Wind Blast doesn't do much damage against light units. It does a lot of damage against heavy units. Now the Crypt Horrors, now that their health pool has been replenished, they're going to come back and start hitting my Savage Orcs, and my Goblins on the far side have been dispatched by the Blood Knights. But some of my Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins have come back from routing, and they're going to countercharge these Blood Knights as another Foot of Gork is dropped in, I believe. Or maybe it's just Brain Burster. But I'm using the two Orc Shamans that I have to keep using those deadly AoE spells that the Orcs now have, that the Greenskins now have, because Foot of Gork is definitely a very powerful area of attack spell. It costs a ton of mana, but it's also very, very potent. Now, the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins are going to charge into the Blood Knights who've gotten a double experience chevron. I'm bringing more and more of them, trying to use their armor piercing damage to punch a hole through the Blood Knights. The Black Knights come back and they're summarily slaughtered. The Cairn Wraiths, though, not nearly as effective as they would be because of, consecutive Foot of Gorks dropped in. Goblins have come back from routing, and they'll be very useful in rear charging these Blood Knights who are trying to escape. It looks like they're... Invocation of Nehek dropped back onto them, so they are going to be another pain in the ass for me to deal with, but they are wavering. And the Master Necromancer, I believe, is going to charge into the Goblin Archers. Goblin Archers have been peppering in the fire. 4 of them should do a decent bit of damage, but it looks like they really haven't. Savage Orcs are going to come help support, but most likely they're just going to take the charge from the Blood Knights. The Blood Knights full of blood and causing a lot of blood to be spilled on to the ground. The Savage Orcs just got slaughtered by a lot of them, and they're going to easily pull away. Crypt Horrors, again, these are just full strength Crypt Horrors that are coming in and charging in again and again. But against Goblins, it's a cheap unit that they're going to charge into, and then that means my Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins are going to be able to get a clean charge in on them. The Savage Orcs come back from routing, and they're going to hit the zombies, and the zombies are crumbling. The Crypt Horrors, these are like 1 or 2 Crypt Horrors that are... the isolated pockets basically that they won't really be able to do too much damage. But now here is another turning point. The Master Necromancer is about to get charged at by Azag the Slaughterer. I'm going to use Here We Go to give him plus 58 melee attack. Look at this fucking damage that is just being popped in on him, because I'm using all sorts of buffs, all 3 of his buffs. Foe Seeker, you know what, pause this. Foe Seeker, Stand Your Ground, and Was. Look at the... Holy shit, 176 melee attack for this guy and 72 melee defense, 52 charge bonus. Yeah, that's for me, yeah? Yeah, that's for me. And he's just going to completely destroy this. He's going to take like 3 swings before the Master Necromancer is completely slaughtered. And there we go, he's gone. Here we go, and there we go. The Master Necromancer has been destroyed by Azag the Slaughterer. The Crypt Horrors are chasing away some of my Goblin Archers, but their master has fled the battlefield. The Cairn Wraiths have done quite a bit of damage despite all the Foot of Gork that's been popped. I couldn't hit all of the Cairn Wraiths, of course, and the ones that survived are doing a lot of damage. Now Savage Orcs going to charge into Crypt Horrors, and I kind of want to take a screenshot here with some Goblin Archers pouring in the fire from the distance against the Savage Orcs. It's going to be a fight between 2 savage units, but the Crypt Horrors most likely will be able to slaughter these Savage Orcs. But yeah, the Crypt Horrors have dealt a lot of damage, especially because of Invocation of Nehek used twice, I think, during the course of this battle. I think he's going to use... Is he going to use Invocation of Nehek again? No, it doesn't look like it. He's crumbling, and that means these Crypt Horrors aren't going to last much longer. I still have both of my Arc Shamans basically intact, and the fire from the Goblin Archers should be quite a bit more damaging now that these guys are crumbling already. The Crypt Horrors are gone. This Crypt Horror is wavering. Its army lost its time, and the the Cairn Wraiths just flop down like little fish onto the ground, and that's it. So what would be a very devastating Vampire Count army can be pretty much hard countered by this sort of Orc build, because you use Foot of Gork a couple of times, and that's like so many of these Cairn Wraiths down. They are very weak to magic spells, and Foot of Gork is one of the best magic spells in Blade Balance at the moment. 155 kills with this Orc Shaman, 59 with the other. Azag the Slaughterer just slaughtered the Vampire Lord. Sorry, not Master Necromancer. And the Crypt Horrors did well, but you can see a lot of these Cairn Wraiths weren't used at all, because as soon as they got into some of my Savage Orcs and some of my Orc boys, I just dropped Foot of Gork. As soon as they got into contact and they got up close and personal, boom. Goblins got 80 kills. I'm sure it was just on zombies. The Skeleton Warriors are not great units, but yeah, fun game. And I figured out the reason why I like the Greenskins that much. It's because I'm able to bring armies that are this large in number. Look at this, 5, 10, 15, 19 units brought. And some of these are good units. Savage Orc Biggins are great units. Savage Orc Boar Boys are pretty expensive but good units as well. But you can also mix them in with very cheap units. Like the Goblin Archers and the regular Goblins. The Savage Orcs are also very good units. But this is not the case for Chaos Warriors, unfortunately. And that's why I'm thinking of giving some of the Chaos Warrior units cheaper prices, so that you can bring larger armies and they'd be more potent that way. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this battle and stay tuned for more. Peace.